Philip Siegel of Havana Phil Cigar Company.
And I'm Shayna Lee, the social media manager here and owner of Shayna Lee Photography.
Welcome to Behind the Smoke Screens, where we give you a raw and unfiltered look at what it's like to run a business as two young entrepreneurs.
In our line of work, we have the pleasure of creating relationships with a variety of characters. Influencers, athletes, models, digital media gurus, CEOs, and industry experts. And we'll be inviting them on to share with you.
Sit back, grab a sip and a smoke as we take you behind the smoke screens. Awesome. All right, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Smoke Screens. I'm Philip Siegel, my co-host Shayna Lee, and we have a very special guest today, Max Maxwell.
How special. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. Max is he's a wholesaler, real estate agent, investor.
I'll never be an agent.
Never?
No, I don't want to be an agent.
Okay.
Used to be.
Cool. You're also a digital media guru.
We have fun.
Yeah. Keep it light.
Yeah, we have fun.
Also a wildly successful entrepreneur. And we're seriously grateful to have you on. You were a huge inspiration for us starting this podcast. And
I'm surprised you took action that fast.
yeah.
Most people don't.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
We like to keep our foot on the gas at Havana Phil's and Shayna Lee Photography. But yeah, here we are. And I guess let's just start with, the biggest thing in our lives is finding balance.
Mm-hmm.
And, we kind of talked about it on our second episode of Behind the Smoke Screens. And the question we asked each other was, how do you find balance in your life? How do you find that zen? How do you unwind and, find that time to, really take yourself to a peaceful place?
That's a good question. I think like, what does balance even really mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I guess I'm considered a workaholic, you'd say, Dave?
I would say so.
Yeah, so for me, balance at this point, I don't have any kids, I'm not married, so you get to be like all into what you're into.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, just working as much as I can is probably my balance. Now I do have a concept where I work 21 days straight, and then I take a 7-day vacation every 21 days. And that's how I complete the month typically. And I've had to force myself to do that because I do like to work.
So what do you do on those 7 days?
Go to another country.
And do what?
Nothing.
Just chill?
Just chill.
Hit a beach?
All of that.
Grab a drink?
All of that.
Okay. I like it.
So last month we were in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And we just go to Mexico and do nothing for 7 days. Do whatever we want, really. Jet ski, ride ATVs, ride horses, whatever.
Did you smoke any cigars?
I did.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
More than a few.
Yeah, we bought some. I don't remember what we bought, but yeah, sitting on the balcony smoking cigars,
Right.
looking at the ocean.
Yeah. Just on a mini vacation.
On a mini vacation.
You were on a mini vacation within a vacation.
That's what cigars do, don't it?
That's right.
Somebody actually just recently said this to me, that life is not about a balance. It's not a balance. It's not an equal balance ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just a constant juggling act, right?
Mhm.
It's a constant act of balance.
Mhm.
And I thought that was like, I never thought about it that way. I was always like, I'm just trying to balance my life. I'm trying to balance my home life and my business life and this, that, and the other. I'm always trying to balance things and I keep things level, but it's never like that. Like sometimes it's really crazy right here and it's really mellow right here. And then other times it's like the other way around. And that's really where the balance is. It's never a perfect balance.
I think work-life balance is like a false
Doesn't
achievement.
exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Right.
exist.
Yeah.
Right.
Not for small business, not for business owners. It does not exist.
I mean, when you get to leave at 5, that I guess you can create a balance there. But I think even then, you still have things that, I don't know. I don't think work-life balance really exists.
But you do have that 7 days off.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So, going back to the balance, it's like when you go home, do you ever turn off? Like,
No.
how do you get to sleep?
Your body just knows. I'm like a kid, so I go to bed like at 10:30.
Yeah,
So it's like,
Your bedtime.
that's my bedtime. I'm
Yeah.
staying up late tonight.
we appreciate that.
And then I wake up early, and I haven't set an alarm in years, unless I'm like, I got like an early flight
Mhm.
out somewhere. But just wake up.
Yeah. So something I've been admiring, following you on social media, is the 75-day strong program you're on.
I didn't think it would be. 75 Hard is Andy Frisella's program where
Shout out.
Yeah, where you got to work out two times a day, 45 minutes each time. One has to be outside. You must drink a gallon of water for that day. You have to read 10 pages of a book. You have to follow a diet, and you can't drink any alcohol.
Right.
So more than just like a physical toughness thing, it's a mental toughness thing. And I think it's good for me because, when you're so obsessed with trying to reach, and there's no end to being successful. And I think that's what a lot of people you're addicted to the journey.
Right.
So when you get addicted to that journey, you start to you give up something to get that. And for me, it was like health, right? So I gained a lot of weight and eat when I can. And this program forces you to schedule workouts, schedule eating, take care of yourself. And I think at the end of the 75 days hard, so everybody on my team's doing it. The end of the 75 days hard, it's going to be where it's normal to then work out once a day.
Right.
And you start to be more conscious of the food you eat, and then drinking waters. Like if by 7 o'clock, if I haven't had my water, I'm just like dry, like I'm in a desert.
Yeah. Dehydrated.
Yeah, just dehydrated. So now my body wants water all the time.
But if you continue to work out 2 times a day after the 75 days,
Yeah.
you'd probably just wear yourself out.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to work out 2 times a day. But I'm going to get at least one good workout a day in.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
100%. But no days off.
No days off. I may chill on the weekend, like a
Yeah.
Sunday or something. I may not work out. But
Or on that 7-day period.
I'll still do something on the 7 days.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's a long time off.
Right.
What's the hardest part? The workout, the diet.
The workout was in
Water.
the beginning.
I feel like the food would be the hardest part for me.
No cheat days would be like.
Yeah, no cheat day is kind of
be
terrible.
miserable.
The worst part is saving your reading till night.
Oh, then you fall asleep while you're reading. That's what would happen to me.
Yeah.
Like page 2, I'm out.
Right. It's only 10 pages, right?
10 pages, but that thing seems like a whole book when it's 10:30.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy. So you mentioned your team. That's something I was, we've hung out a few times. It's been amazing. And, the biggest thing that I realized was how close you are to your team. And that's something I've, found a lot of inspiration in and really have looked up to. Like, I kind of want to hear the backstory of that. Like, how did you find these guys? How did you, create this family environment with these totally different
Personalities.
characters?
Dave and I knew each other 10 years ago. From I used to do some work with his brother. Him and his brother, we owned like a restaurant / nightclub together. We lived in Maine together. And Dave was our editor. I think he was out of college then, but he would edit our videos for us then. We owned a company called 207 Nightlife, which basically was like a nightlife update type thing. We we did this thing called the weekly rewind and your party forecast.
Nice.
Right? So like being in a college area, college town, you did.
Wait, can we get some of this old footage? 'Cause
Absolutely.
I've got all of it. I don't delete anything.
I hope this is
Nice.
on. This needs to be on YouTube. Is this on your YouTube channel?
Oh
'Cause,
no, not on my channel, but if you dig,
this
you'll find it.
time,
Yeah.
Yes, we need to bring it back to old school stuff.
So
That's
the
gonna be
first
used.
couple videos, we would edit. We'd send SD cards in the mail. The fastest way to do it, like $2. And Max sent me back another card, and then he sent me a dollar bill, and I was like, "What is this?" And I turned it over. There's a Sharpie down the middle, and on one side it said video 1, the other side said video 2. So
50 cents a video.
50 cents.
That's nuts.
So just having that company and getting into, we understood this is when Facebook was like the thing,
Mhm.
and we would
This is like 08, 09.
Like 10, 11, I think.
10, 11.
Yeah.
and we would hire photographers to go into nightclubs and take photos at all the nightclubs, and we negotiated like a drink tab and like $100 maybe, and they would go in, take the photos, and all the photos would live on 207 Nightlife's Facebook page,
Okay.
and everybody would want to tag themselves in the photo, so we became the source of like nightlife updates. And so every week we would have videos of what went on in the club prior in the bars, and then that was your weekend rewind, and then your party forecast, like who was doing what, who was having 1 2 3 tequila night, who was doing whatever it was, and we would basically say this is what's going on this weekend in town,
Mhm.
and that was it. So it was like a pretty cool. So we got to own that space of nightlife.
Right.
So when big concerts would come in town, the venue would give us tickets to give away and
Mhm.
all types of stuff. So that's how I met Dave. And then Dave went off and did his thing for a while, and I moved around and then came back to North Carolina. And then when I started doing YouTube again for myself, Dave like kind of pitched this idea of an agency where we would go out and do work for clients and like bigger stuff. And at the same time, my YouTube was growing. So I was like, why don't you just move to North Carolina? And he moved to North Carolina. And at that time, I had 2 people. And then we started to grow, and we just needed more and more people. And
Yeah.
Matt used to work with Dave. And then Matt started part-time working for me as well. And then he got an internship.
Mhm.
And then when he graduated, he came to work for us. And then we needed more people, so then we hired Dwayne.
Mhm.
And Dwayne, we had an ad out.
That media.
Yeah, Dad Media. We had an ad out
Mhm.
for a new videographer, editor, and all that stuff. And then,
I actually so I didn't even see his resume. I like missed it, and then I randomly went to the bar one night to meet up with our other friend EA, and Dwayne was just sitting next to us at the table, overheard our conversation, and we just started chopping it up. And I said, "All right, let me take a look again."
Wow.
And then
What are the odds of that?
I know that's crazy.
That is crazy. That's destiny.
It's just meant to be.
So that's the team we have now. So we travel together. So when we do the 7 days vacation,
Mhm.
we all go.
Okay.
Yeah, so we all go on the vacation together.
So would you say that's how you guys mesh together so well? That's how you created such a great chemistry? Because-
that, and we probably spend 12 hours a day with each other.
Yeah.
Are
Right.
you hiring any more photographers? I'm just saying I could use a 7-day vacation.
Yeah.
7 day
That sounds-
vacation is cool. We have fun. We have fun on the vacation.
And where do you typically go on the vacations? Is it just anywhere?
We've done Jamaica, Mexico quite a bit.
Mhm.
Mexico again. Mexico's fun. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Where do you go in Mexico? Because Mexico's like that's pretty broad.
Typically the West Coast, so Punta de Minta. We fly into Puerto Vallarta, and typically anywhere from once they go there, so we can go up, down.
Mhm.
Do you fly, you guys, when you go?
No, commercial. Sleep. I want to sleep.
Right.
So I don't fly myself. And I typically won't fly myself on long journeys. So I
Because
just,
you have to fill up along the way?
if I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got 900 nautical miles I can use. You want to keep an hour in the reserve tank. But typically, if we're going to go on vacation, it's vacation. So we just jump on a commercial
So
flight.
you have a pilot's license.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get that?
You know, I had a crazy journey because I started my pilot license 5 years ago, and kind of fell on my face, and then rebooted and started a new business. And I got so busy with work, I never really went back for a long time. But typically, just it roughly is about 40 hours of flight time with an instructor.
Okay.
If you can fly 2-3 times a week, you can get that in a few months, like
Right.
4 to 5 months maybe. And that's it. And it's fairly inexpensive. It costs more than a driver's license, but it puts you like in an elite club. There's only 650,000, pilots in America.
Right.
So to be in that club is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then once you get in aviation, it's fairly cheap because you can buy a plane. You can get a real good plane for like 50, 60 grand.
Yeah.
But it's financed over 20 years.
And that is just so surprising.
Yeah.
That's just buying a car.
Mm-hmm.
But you probably get a better rate and a longer plan.
Yep.
That's amazing.
I just can't figure out how you turn off, because we talked earlier about when you row, you look at a screen that's like nature.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot imagine someone like you, like, I know for me, it's hard enough. I have to turn on white noise when I sleep at night.
I do too. White noise, or listen to like somebody tell a story.
Do you ever listen to your own podcast to fall asleep?
No.
Okay, so the only reason he said that, I'm sure, because he wanted me to say, I fell asleep to you last night.
Listening to
And
podcasts?
listen, it's so funny because I was listening to the podcast where you were like, I don't research my guests. I don't ever, because I want it to be a natural
Just a conversation.
And that's how we are too. Like, we're very much like that. So we want it to be just us hanging out.
That's it.
And so I was just like, casually like, oh, let me just like do a little bit of research. Like, a little bit of research. And the one that I listened to was like, I don't research my guests. And I was like, a relief.
It's a
fell over
soothing
me. I was
voice.
like, you know what? I can just sit here and have a conversation and not even worry about it, because it's exactly what you do. You want to get to know people and have this natural conversation.
That's it. And everybody listening is just a fly on the wall.
Right.
To our conversation.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it. It's better that way. No prep. You notice I didn't ask you what we're talking about not once.
Yeah.
I don't care. We're just gonna have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I've always been like that in my life. Like when I've done speeches and everything, I've always been like, I don't prep very much ahead of time. And if I do, it's a general list of things that I'm going to touch on. And then I already know, if I know the topic, I'm very sure about what I'm
Exactly.
going to say.
When you're speaking about something there's no point of doing like when we travel and do speeches and like do engagements, I never prep for it. I literally walk downstairs with still no idea what I'm going to talk about. I feel out the room. I talk to whoever paid me to come, and then I'm like, let's go.
Right. So, obviously, we're just starting out here as podcasters. When you started, did you ever listen to your episodes all the way through?
No. I don't listen to my episodes, nor do I watch my own videos, really.
We're having a hard time with that.
Because you want to be perfect.
Right.
No, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
It's subjective.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could watch this now or listen to this and be like, the lighting's not good. The audio doesn't work that well. It's all subjective. Somebody else could listen to it and be like, this is the best podcast I've ever heard or listened to or watched.
Mm-hmm.
So perfect doesn't even really exist if you think about it.
So fast forwarding to now, do you ever listen to it?
My stuff?
Yeah.
No.
You lived it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I'm like, I'm living
it's in the memory bank. It's done. It's over with.
Wow.
Because we put out so many episodes, there's no way I can spend time recording it and going back and listening to it.
Yeah. I mean, that just takes too much time.
Because I enjoy podcasts, so I'd rather listen to somebody else's podcast.
Who do you listen to?
Anybody that talks about a topic that I'm interested in at the moment.
No free ads.
Yeah, just anybody that but not none of the mainstream guys.
No Joe Rogan?
Gary
No.
Vee?
I used to be fast. I got paid him $155,000 to speak at one of my events one time.
Gary Vee?
Yeah.
What happened?
was fun. He taught me the game. He was in the building for 90 minutes and made $155,000.
Was it worth it?
It was, because it was a ploy for me to have a relationship with him.
Mm. And do you keep up with him at all?
Not as much as I used to. Like, I feel like everybody grows. So he was very intricate part of me getting to the point where I am now. But then even he'll tell you, you shouldn't be listening to me forever, because that means you're not picking up anything I'm putting down.
Gary Vee also puts out a ton of content every single day.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? Like,
it's perfect.
You put out a lot of content. You guys put out a lot of content, but you really have to have, for a small business like me, it's impossible.
No.
I would have to hire someone to take care of that for me.
When it gets to that point, if you go back and watch some of my first videos, I was holding my own camera. I used to hold my own camera and then send my footage to the Philippines and have a guy edit it for me and then put it on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Started from the bottom.
Now we're here.
So I should be filming you. I should be filming you too while we're sitting here.
Yeah, why not?
This is great. This is good content.
So you mentioned you only listen to podcasts that are relevant to you.
Yeah.
Like, what topics are relevant to you? Is it real estate? Is it entrepreneurship? Is it
all of that? So like being like having 22 employees, and like right now I'm into like leadership stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm always trying to be a better leader, because it's difficult to manage so many different personalities, and you just want to see other people who have done it or could be a few steps ahead of you, to learn how they do it and learn like what stuff has helped them. Mm-hmm. And I'm into that now. And then a book I'm reading now is The Miracle Morning. Okay. So that just like stuff that's going to make me better. That's what I try to focus on. Things that I'm having problems with. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm focusing on at the moment.
Right. So you're just constantly trying to improve who you are as a human.
I think you have to every day.
Right.
Because if not, then...
But people are just every day just going through the motions.
I think
the same exact thing every single day.
I think that's a difficult life to live, because if you don't try to improve yourself every day, then what are you living for?
Right.
Right? If you're not moving forward, what are you doing? You're going backwards.
Right.
So just everything, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's just being a better human, you just got to kind of work on yourself every day. And it's not easy.
Yeah. So do you still have that mindset of, like the David versus Goliath, like, you're trying to punch up. Mm-hmm. Like, you still have that mindset, even though you're known as a successful businessman?
I'm only successful depending on what crowd I'm hanging in. Mm. Right? So I'm always trying to level up.
Right.
So like before I was a millionaire, I want to hang around millionaires.
Right.
So I was hanging around millionaires when I was just a thousandaire. Mm-hmm. And then when I became a millionaire, you want to hang around people that are worth tens of millions.
Right.
And then when you get tens of millions, you want to hang around people who are hundreds or $1 billion. Mm-hmm. It's just like, what room are you in? Like,
right.
You say I'm successful, then Jeff Bezos sits down in front of you. Are you still successful?
I mean, that's just a matter of perspective.
It is, right? Yeah. But it's all about your drive that you have in yourself, right, to where you want to be.
Right.
Some people get comfortable, which is cool. I mean, some people don't have, you don't have to be. And that's the cool thing, is like success is not really determined by money. Mm-hmm. I think success is just like freedom. Right. Are you free? Mm-hmm. And if you're free, then you're successful.
Yeah. Are you free?
I'm freer than I used to be.
Right. Because you get that 7 days off a month.
Yeah. I mean, I could quit and do nothing for the rest of my life now, but what's the like I said, what's the purpose?
Where's the structure?
Yeah, at this point, I'm working for my grandkids, and I don't even have kids.
Right. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Because you got to leave a legacy, right? Because I don't come from, like, my parents are immigrants. Mm-hmm. So, like, now I don't have anything that, my parents couldn't pass me anything. So now I got to try to pass it on and create and live for, like, your last name. I'm sure your last name is important to you.
Absolutely.
So that's what you're striving for at this point. Because when you get to a certain level of success, you only need a certain amount of, if you're talking money, you only need a certain amount of money to live a great life.
Right.
And then everything else after that is for everybody else.
Mm-hmm. So the biggest question I have throughout my day, or like if I'm reviewing my year, it's like, how do I find my bliss? Like what is that pure happiness?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I always think back to, you know, giving 100% every day. You know, I always think about improving my life, you know, and giving back to people that I love. Like, what is your bliss?
I think it's ever changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the goalpost in life continues to change. So when you get to like a certain place, like you may be like, oh man, this cigar shop is exactly where I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, yo, let's do it again.
Right.
Let's get 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's go nationwide.
Right.
And then you're like, and you look back and you're like, well, 5 years ago it was just to have a successful cigar place.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, well, I want 5 of them. And then it's like, and that's if you want it. It could stop at 3.
Yeah.
So the goalpost on that always moves.
Yeah. So it just changes for you week by week, month by month.
Yeah, I would say like new challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get to I think what happens when you reach that level, you consider level 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you have enough guts to start over again at 1 and go back up to 10?
Right. No, that clicks 100%.
Because it's comfortable being at 10, right?
Yeah.
Wherever that 10 is.
Right.
But do you have enough to go to the next step and then go to 10 again?
Yeah. And that just comes back to perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like just where you're sitting at. Like I'm comfortable sitting here with 1 store. But in reality, I want to have 5 different stores. I want to have 10 different stores. I want to be nationwide.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, because you get here and you're like, oh, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep going.
Okay, though, but wait a minute. So you said in your podcast that you now work for your employees.
100%.
Tell me what you mean by that, because I definitely feel like I don't want to be busier. I'm a mother. I'm a single mother, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I like run my business. And now I'm remote teaching, or help assisting my children remote learning because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So I am busy all the time. I don't want to be busier. I would love to employ people to work for me so that I can hand off and delegate some of that. Tell me what it means for you to work for your employees.
Because when you don't, at a certain point, you don't have to wake up every morning and start. You don't have to do anything anymore. So that drive and that fire, you have to get up and do those things because somebody else is counting on you. Mm-hmm. So you have 22 employees. Mm-hmm. You have 22 families that count on you to do the right thing every day. And that drives you, right? It's like when you have employees, you start to meet their kids. And you're like, well, if I don't do this or land this deal or get this done, then it's going to trickle down and affect everybody else.
It's a lot of pressure.
It is, but it's if you want that pressure, right? Because you can stop today. I can stop today and be cool. But if I stop today, who am I letting down?
Yeah.
So it's just all about being selfless.
But yes. But you got to be selfish in order to be selfless.
Right.
So you got to put in that work to get to a point, and then you can roll out.
So where is it that okay, so there's somewhere in your life that's taken a hit.
Yep.
Because of how busy you are. Where is that place?
Physical and then my personal relationships.
Okay. And that's probably pretty common across the board for business owners. I would say that's definitely the case for me.
Because I'm 35.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
I know.
35, no kids, no wife.
Yeah.
So you had to sacrifice a certain part in order to get to there. Mm-hmm. But then in my mind, the way the game plays out, you get to a certain part, and then when you do have a wife and you do have kids, you can be the best husband, and then you can be the best father. Right. Because I'm no longer have to do anything other than those 2 things.
Well, I didn't take that path, but I totally feel you. Definitely agree with that perspective, and certainly the physical and relational aspect of things. Even now in my business, I mean, I definitely try to take care of myself, because I know that if I take care of myself, people in my life are going to be better off for it.
Correct.
Especially my children. And so sometimes as a mom, I get this like serious mom guilt. I should be doing this, or I should be better at this, or whatever. But I also like weigh heavily on taking care of myself so I can take care of them better, mentally, physically, everything. Because they have a lot of energy, and I have to be ready for that every day.
You work for them.
Yeah, for sure. And
it's
I
like
want
having
them to be
employees.
Happy. Yeah.
Same concept.
Really muddy, energetic, snack eating, and like we gotta fill the fridge.
Yeah. So, going back to you working for your employees, how did you, when you got to the point where you had to realize that you needed to scale seriously and hire Dwayne and hire Mateo, how did you know when it was right to do that and invest that kind of time and resources into that?
I think you know when you start running inefficient, right? And you could get more done if you brought somebody else on, or it could free up your time, or you're using time that's best not used in what you're doing, right? Because my time is very valuable. So at a certain point, you meet this delta where it's no longer, it's not good for you to go out and do these things, because your time can be spent somewhere else better.
Right.
So then you hire, but you'll know, it's like this internal voice that's like, all right, level up and go out there and.
Yeah. Oh, I totally relate to that.
Yeah.
That's why Shane is here right now.
Yeah.
Like, we got to a certain point with our social media where I couldn't dedicate enough time to take it to another level. So I was like, Shana just kind of came in and was like, hey, like, let's do something. And I was like, this is perfect.
So actually, I came in a year ago, and we met at an event. I shot some photos of his booth, and I was reached out to him, and I was like, hey, I've got social media stuff, I've got photos, like, let's talk about what you need for your business. And we came in, we met, and he picked up on video work. So I shot some videos for him. And then I shot a few videos last year, some events that he did. And then months later, Phil reaches out to me and says, hey, I'm ready to talk about social media. And that's where I came on board. I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do it. Like, I'll shoot photos for you. I'll do the social media stuff. And I think that's interesting, because there was certainly a time where it was like right for him to need to want that and pull the trigger on that.
Yeah, my mindset is just like Shana just kind of came in here, just like fell into my lap, and it was perfect timing. And
that was only because I took the initiative. I just have to say it.
Go ahead. Shut up.
Because I took the initiative to say, as a business owner, I want to reach out to this client. I really think I have something to provide to benefit the company. I want to show him that. And I did that in piecemeal, right? And then he remembered me 8 months later or something, and came to me for photography, still photography, and social media. And so I planted the seed early on, and then that grew into something down the road. And I think that's really important for business owners to like keep that in mind, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It really does. It has worked for me in my life in several different big opportunities that I've had.
Yeah. Right.
And certainly here with Phil, just being present and being ready and saying, this is what I have to offer. And then he knew to come back around and contact me when he was ready. And I knew at some point his business was going to be ready for that. So.
Right. And for me, it was like every employee that I've hired has just kind of come in and say, hey, I want to be a part of this. Let's make it happen. Whether it's a part-time, retailer or sales associate, it's just fallen into place. And who knows if that's right or wrong? It's just how it's happened.
Yeah, because you got as an entrepreneur, you got to sell your vision to your employees.
And you want them to want it like you want it. And you don't want to, put out a Yelp ad or LinkedIn ad and see who applies to that, because that's super time consuming.
Or you can put out an ad even though you don't have anything to sell.
Right.
Right, Max?
Correct. I have some of those.
Your employees talked you into putting out an ad where you don't have anything to sell, but you're going to put that ad out anyway.
Still costs me money.
Because you're selling you.
Correct. I'm a brand.
You're a brand. So let's talk about the business brand versus the personal brand and how you mesh the two.
Yeah, I think it's important to build a personal brand always over a business brand, right? People like stories. It's hard to turn this building and this cigar shop into a story, but it's easier for somebody to relate to you and your story of this. And so I think personal brands are the new thing. I mean, it's like, if you look at like the Kardashians, that personal brand's worth billions of dollars, and it's just a personal brand.
Right.
And like they don't do anything, and
they
so
just hang out.
Their brand
because
is
people trust them, because people want to be them, and
or just vicariously living through them or watching them.
And you've created that because people trust you. You've created a brand where people trust what you have to say. And then these are mostly, I would venture to guess, that they want to be in your position. They want to be able to do what you're doing.
Some fashion, some form of it.
Some
yeah.
form of fashion.
Would you say that's because of the short attention span that typical Americans and consumers have nowadays?
I mean, they do come and go, but I mean, you just have to consciously know that the short attention span is what we have now, as people were such an on-demand society. So you have to cater your content around that.
Right. Do you have a TikTok?
I do. I just really started it.
How's it going?
Are you dancing?
Not dancing. We do have like, I put out a video the other day. It's got like 1.3 million views on it.
No shit.
Just like,
how did you do that?
I went to go check on a house that we were redoing, and then I said, let me film it, and I filmed it, and then people were like, oh my God, this is good. So I don't know how it works, like in the sense that why it blew up like that, but now it's a good platform.
Dave, how do you think it blew up?
I just think it was timing, and if you're genuine on there,
Yeah.
you have to be genuine the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I put out a video where I was sitting in a first class seat, and I literally thought that the tray table was cool, how it popped up, and it got like 1 million views in a day.
What?
I had not even 1,000 followers. No reason it should have been that good.
So are you getting paid from these million views?
No. Again, it's like that indirect brand awareness, and the more you can do that, the more people, like Max always saying, that top end funnel are going to go find the YouTube or wherever you want to get them,
Right.
and they'll follow you if you're genuine.
Yeah.
So Jamie Foxx, have you seen Jamie Foxx's TikTok? It's Jamie Foxx.
Great actor.
Yeah, the
So-
actor.
yes.
He's an amazing pianist and singer.
Yes, so he started TikTok not long ago, and his first like 5 TikToks were like, "Hey, I'm about to do a TikTok. I'm about to do a TikTok. I'm gonna do a TikTok. Y'all ready? Let's do a TikTok."
You
And
never
I
did that
swear,
TikTok.
It was so funny to me that he was like my favorite TikTok person. So I'm like,
That's
he
a
does
good
not
idea.
know what he's
There you
doing.
go.
He has no clue, and he's like on there with his kids or like this gym buddy that's like, "Give me, I'm not trying to be on your TikTok." But he's so funny, and I love it. I love it. That's the kind of stuff I love. It's
just
like
him being him.
not trying to be a TikTok person.
Yeah. It's just
him
whatever it
being
is.
like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just about to do this.
Right.
I love it.
It works.
Have a flash round for you.
Sure, let's do it.
Whoa.
All right. So
What does that mean?
it means basically we're gonna ask Max a series of this or that,
Okay.
and you have to answer one or the other.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. One word answers. Okay, wait. maybe not totally one-word answers, but close enough.
Let's hear it.
You ready?
Let's get it.
All right. Italy or Tahiti?
Italy.
Bourbon or Scotch?
Bourbon.
Don't talk about liquor.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Smart.
You're so fast. Okay, running a marathon or Netflix marathon?
I would run a marathon. I'd try it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Espresso or cold brew?
Ooh.
Ooh. What if it's iced espresso?
That's not what I said, but we'll go back.
I'll do a cold brew.
All right.
I was just selfish right there.
Yeah.
So.
Boots or sneakers?
Ooh. I like a good pair of cowboy boots.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
401k or Roth IRA?
Roth.
Sunrise or sunset?
She just judged you right there.
No, I'm taking notes over here. I'm not even like taking notes on my phone.
Sunset.
Sunset.
Smart.
All right. Favorite mode of transport?
Plane.
That's obvious.
All right. If you could have a cigar with any person who has already passed, who would it be? And why?
Ooh.
That's a good one. That's already passed. Steve Jobs.
Whoa.
I just want to get in that mind.
Yeah.
There's something there. I think he left. It wasn't finished when he left.
Right. That's a great answer.
That's good.
That gives people an idea of your insides. right
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Beautiful.
What about you, Phil? Who would yours be?
Ooh. I'd probably go Frank Sinatra.
Really?
Yeah. He just seems like a cool cat. I listen to him every day. I hear his lyrics. Just inspirational. I'd love to just sit down with him for an hour and a half and just see what he has to say.
Take a long cigar.
Yeah. What about you?
I was sitting here trying to think about that answer because I knew you were going to turn to me and ask that.
Yeah.
Have a cigar with anyone that's passed. I'm going to have to say Jesus. I'm a Christian,
I'm not ready for that combo with that.
Whoa.
and like, listen, I know that politics and religion are like, we're not supposed to talk about that, but we
Yeah.
need to talk about everything.
No, I just don't know what I would ask him or say.
Yeah.
So,
That's deep.
I think
Intense.
that I would love to have that opportunity to say, hey, look, give me a chance.
Yeah.
Give me a chance.
I feel like there'd be a lot of pressure.
A lot of
You only have
pressure.
an hour with that guy? I mean, that's a lot to talk about right there.
Yeah.
So I have just one last interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
So when I would type in your website just to see what, you were like, basically your overview of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So always the second thing that came up was Max Maxwell's net worth.
I see that a lot. Why do that
Why
means
is
that?
So
Because people
I
search
wanna-
that.
But I want to know, what do you think that the internet thinks your net worth is?
Oh my god, I don't know. That's a good question.
What do you think they think?
Yeah,
What do they think?
because I have the exact answer in my brain.
Yeah.
But it's not very exact. I'll give you that hint.
I don't know because I'm not that flashy, so I don't know what people think.
Just take a guess.
10 million.
1 to 5 million.
Yeah, maybe a few years ago.
Yeah. But we all know that's fake, and it's all just fake news. But in reality, it's just funny because that is always...
I did see that because I have
Yeah.
Googled myself, and it's like the first or second thing that pops up.
Yeah. And we didn't do much research coming in, but just seeing that every time we would type your name in, it was like I was intrigued about what it thought and then what you would think that
people
they
would think.
thought.
Hope they think I'm broke.
They said that there was this one website. It was called Net Worth Rolodex or something.
What?
And that was like the main source. And they said that you're one of the most successful entrepreneurs born in New York,
Maybe in the part of New York I was from.
which it was Brooklyn.
No, it's a small. It's like I was born in Port Chester, so it's like Westchester County.
Okay.
But there's a lot of heavy hitters out there.
Is that Long Island?
No, not Long Island. It's north of the city. I think Denzel's from there. Denzel Washington. I can't be more successful than
Shout
him.
out Denzel.
Yeah.
I
In
love
case
it.
you're watching.
Yeah. Hit me up.
Yeah.
I'd have a cigar with you.
Hit me up too.
Yeah.
I will too.
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna be there.
But yeah. Any last questions?
Um,
Do you have dogs?
No, not yet. I'm building a house on 20 acres, so I will get I'm looking to get a Belgian Malinois.
what about
Just one?
horses?
2, eventually 2.
How about some horses?
I have 4.
You have 4 already?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a bull, right?
I do own a bull, yeah. He lives in Texas.
Are you gonna put it on your property?
Maybe if he's ready to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's a PBR bull.
And that'll be a practice bull, right?
Correct.
What's his name? I gotta know.
Ghetto Dreams.
Beautiful.
That's his name, Ghetto Dreams.
I love that.
I love that. Wait, okay.
Will you ride it?
No, never. I would never get on a bull.
Why not?
You're so determined, though.
No. There's certain things you just know you're not supposed to do. That's one of them.
That is a really good point for
So
a
you'll-
business.
you'll-
There's certain things
just
you know you
not-
shouldn't do that you should just hire other
So
people
you'll
to do.
fly a plane, but you won't ride a bull.
Bull's a 1,800-pound aggressive animal.
How much does a plane weigh?
That's the thing. Like my plane, probably like 2,300 pounds.
No shit.
So imagine getting on that thing and
Yeah.
riding it for 8 seconds.
Wow.
So, what makes you happy? Tell us one thing, 2 things that makes you really happy.
Seeing other people happy and really like seeing my mom happy makes me happy.
Family matters.
When you got your first big paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
what'd you do for your mom?
She's retired. My mom's retired.
Did you do something for her though? Like when you were in a really good place financially, were you like, "Hey, Mom, I'm gonna take care of this"?
Told her you don't have to work anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the best gift you can give.
Yeah.
I'm asking my sons to take note. You're 75, but
Don't have to work anymore.
right, exactly. If you could ask yourself anything on an interview, because I'm sure you interview all the time, you're
Mhm.
meeting with people all the time. People probably ask you questions. You're like, why are they asking me this? I talk about this all the time. It's the same question I get all the time. What's something that people don't ask you that you really want to be asked, or that you want to talk about?
What do you
Oh,
accomplish?
yeah, I like that.
The things that people see me do now, I've been doing for people for a long time, and just really turned it on myself.
Mhm.
All the strategies that they see now, so just really understanding. I think one thing I'm real good at that a lot of people don't understand, maybe see, is that I understand what people want and like, and like how they want to see and experience things.
Right. I could see that from the first time we met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you connected instantly with everyone that you're around that you never knew.
Yeah, I
And,
think that's a God gift. That's a God gift right
Yeah.
there.
yeah. And that was just something I was super impressed with. And you can just see the talent there, and that helps you create what you do.
Yeah, it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
People skills.
I think that's a huge difference between a business owner and someone that is a leader,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's a leadership quality. A business owner, somebody can own a business
All day long.
all day long and not even talk to their clients and just run the business and have their employees and do this, that, and the other. And then there's leaders. And the leaders are the successful people that
Longevity.
whatever that success in perspective, right? Whatever that means for them, being able to run a business where their employees are successful and happy and living a balanced life, right? And you are also able to do the same thing. So leadership and owning a business are two different things. But being able to connect to people is a leadership quality.
Big time.
Show the love.
Yeah, and it's very obvious. Like, this is the first time we've met. I've met Dave, I've met Dwayne,
Mm-hmm.
and there's definitely like this instant connection feeling with you guys.
We're people.
Yeah, it's totally people. Just like Phil, just like I have to be. I am that naturally. I've always been that naturally, but I definitely feel that with my clients. I know Phil feels that same way with his clients.
100%.
And only because it's what we want, right? We could just totally stay. I couldn't, but you could totally stay more behind the scenes and let everybody else handle the client side.
I love it. It's gonna be good.
We really appreciate you.
Keep the podcast going.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it rolling, keep it
No, I think
consistent.
this is it. That's it, guys. We're done. This is the
Yeah,
job.
this is the last one.
Max Maxwell, guys.
But seriously, so much gratitude for you and your team, Dave and Dwayne and Mateo. They showed us around and got that fire under our ass, and now we're ready to rock. And it's truly an honor to have you as our first guest.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. Thank you guys.